What is up, guys? Welcome on back to TK's Garage. And I've seen a lot of comments. They're going like, wait a minute. What do you mean CARB approved brake pads? What? Yes, if you didn't know, the California Air Resource Board is kind of waving the white flag. They know that they're going to lose in the emissions fight with the federal government, and they have to find a new way to scam their citizens. And the only way that they can scam the people in California and the other states that follow California's nonsense is they have to find a new big bad enemy. And evidently it's brake pads and rotors. Yeah. Roll the intro. So welcome on back to TK's Garage. I'm getting up today. We're getting these videos in, and I saw a comment, which I'm going to post here in a second. The comment said, I quote, and I'll put it up here. What the heck is the difference between a CARB-approved brake pad and a regular brake pad? That's what I'd like to know. Well, wouldn't everybody? But I'm going to tell you what the difference is. Price. Very similar to right now, if you live in California or one of these states that uses CARB's policies, if you bought a catalytic converter in California, that catalytic converter is going to cost hundreds, sometimes thousands more than a federally standard approved catalytic converter. I'll give you an example. I had a friend who had a 2020 Chevy Tahoe, and they cut the cat off his truck, wherever it was parked, whatever. They stole his catalytic converter. And it cost $1,800 to buy a CARB approved. Now, what a CARB approved catalytic converter is, they just give them the sticker or stamp that says it's CARB approved on the catalytic converter. That's what you're paying for. A stamp. An engraving that says CARB approved. That's it. There's no difference between the federally standard CARB catalytic converter and the one from California, except price. Who gets all that money for that licensing and that stamping? CARB, the California Air Resource Board. And that's their scam, or green new scam, as I like to call it. So for those that don't understand what that is, basically what they're doing now is they're realizing that tailpipe emissions are going away in terms of what they're going to be able to regulate, enforce, and all of that. And you can see that because they're laying off the people that were outside doing enforcement and doing remote devices, stuff where they could measure how much greenhouse emissions were in the air, I guess. Those people have been laid off from the California Air Resource Board. And they continue to cut more because now that they don't have the federal funding, their biggest expenses, oh, shocker, employees. So they're cutting them. And the difference here is now they're like, well, what can we do? What is put into the air that we can make an excuse that we can make a ton of money on? Brake pads. Yep. They're now saying, the California Air Resource Board is now saying that brake pads are the biggest threat to your health and the environment. Now, I know you're probably like, no way this is a real thing. But no, it is. It's definitely a real thing. And it is moving down the line, and they are going to enforce it as they lose some other things. And I know a lot of people ask all the time, well, when are they going to get rid of the smog? Or when do I still have to smog my car? As long as the law in California has it that way, until the feds, push their enforcement. Yes. Do I think smog shops are going away here very soon? Yes. But here's the thing, could get worse. It seems that, not only are they going to have these CARB approved brake pads, which if you're asking, Well, if a catalytic converter was like 1,300 and a federally approved catalytic converter was like 200, how much are these brake pads going to cost? Well, there's already been some estimates by people who are well and knowledgeable in this aspect for parts that are CARB approved. And it looks like a pair of brake pads that I could buy. I'll give you an example from my Cadillac for the STS, right? $30 at AutoZone, $460 for those same brake pads. Yep. Oh, and let's say you do the rotor, right? The rotors on mine are like $20 a piece, $30 a piece for the rotors on the Cadillac for, their disc brakes. Yeah, think like $350 to $400 per rotor. So you're like, okay, so how much is a brake job going to cost? Well, let's say you were doing your front brakes. You're paying $800 in rotors, right? And you're paying another $800 most likely in pads. So you pay the $800 in rotors and pads and $800, so you're looking at an insane amount of money to do a brake job. $1,600 to do the front brakes on a domestic car. That's something that's readily available. Can you imagine what the brakes are going to cost on, say, a Lamborghini or something along those lines? I don't know. It's going to be expensive. And this is the new scam for them in California. Because they're saying, according to them, and back in the day, brake pads had asbestos in them, all right? They don't have that now. So it's like brake pads are going to cause clouds of smoke over the city. They need to stop, man. Oh, can they please stop the BS? But, yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Hopefully that answers this user's question. And, yeah, it's just ridiculous. But as always, thank you very much for watching. I truly appreciate it. And stay petty, my friends.